Hello, everyone, and welcome back to what feels like a lifetime ago. You know it's a good talk discussion when you have me and Adam sitting in the same room. You have Juan here, and you have our buddy Nate here. As you can tell, you want to start with this one before I get a little heated?
I think we're all a little heated, Lorenzo.
Okay. Oh no, Adam's way more heated a little bit. I've got way more heated about this one.
Which one are we talking about? There's so much about which Marvel or Super DC. What are we talking?
Talking about Marvel today.
Okay, so yesterday, Variety put out a very interesting article, and it's been something we've all been talking about, but I don't think we wanted to admit it yet, and Variety admitted it.
Mm-hmm.
Marvel.
Well, I wouldn't say we didn't admit it yet. There's been talks about it.
We don't want
how everything could go. So the question on everyone's mind, I think even Juan could say, even Nate could say, was there's been quality or quantity over quality right now with MCU, and the whole question is, are we losing faith in our Lord and Savior, possibly Dad Kevin Feige? And we've been talking because a lot of people have been disappointed in projects. I've been getting to that point where I'm just like, Jesus Christ, how much do we go through to get to these fucking movies, dude?
Well, I think really where we should start is the beginning because it all stems from an issue that has plagued the franchise for a long time, and it's the formula. Okay. I really genuinely think it's the formula.
So I think it really started when the pandemic kicked in. I think when the whole world shut down, and I think we started freaking out when all the Marvel movies started delaying, which, that's what comic book fans do. We freak out when our stuff gets delayed because we don't have it with us anymore. And I have felt like if Black Widow had came out in 2020, it would have been a little bit better, but Black Widow kicking off Phase 4 was kind of strange, and it was kind of an origin, even though like she died in Endgame and now she's back, but it's a backstory, which I've always felt like that movie should have stayed in Phase 3 and not kick off Phase 4. It introduced Elena and it introduced the Red Guardian. Great characters for what's gonna come to be, which in the Thunderbolts, but it's not. But I don't think Black Widow should have been a movie for Phase 4. It should have actually. I think they could have teased Elena and Red Guardian in Phase 3, and we would have all been shaken. But it really started with the pandemic, and I blame Marvel. I blame all the Marvel head writers, and I blame Bob Chapek a lot.
Chapek is the biggest blame. But we could go on and on about the whole Chapek situation. But the real question was, an article came out. You could tell by the title of this live. We were going to pre-record this, and I was like, no, we're going to do this live. We're going to have fun with it.
I was shocked when I heard that.
So, like I said, how it follows forever. We apologize. We've been working on stuff. But I wake up yesterday morning. I go on Facebook and Twitter. I'm browsing the internet. And then I get 500 texts from fucking everyone about this. It's titled, by Variety, Crisis at Marvel is the MCU in fucking shambles.
He's trying to get a hold of me, and I not.
So I was calling him. He didn't answer. I said, all right, cool. So he texted me today. We're going to talk about it. Oh, where do we start with all this? I'm not even just starting it beginning with Black Widow.
Where did it start? It started. I genuinely think it started in Phase 3, right when all these. I mean, if I'm going to
give a Phase 3, I wouldn't give it Phase 3. Phase 3 gave us some quality stuff.
Yeah, I don't know. The first Doctor Strange, while good, I enjoyed it. It still felt very, very like formulaic. And honestly, the movies have had this really good hot streak from 2008 all the way to 2019. That's honestly how I see it. I see it as if they hit like Thunder's or Lightning's not going to hit the same place twice. It just won't. I think that's the lesson that Marvel needs to learn. But I think, you know, the MCU is in a tough spot. It's had a long streak of disappointing films and TV. You know, we had a controversial scandal with an actor. You know, I think it's time for Kevin Feige and his team to take a huge look at the formula and decide what should be taken out and what should be kept, and you know, make that course correction. Because
before we get to you, before we get to Nate, we're gonna let Nate finish up. Yeah. Juan, what is your whole thoughts on this with the Variety article coming out yesterday? What are you thinking?
Well, you texted me and you were like, "Yikes!" I'm worried. I'm worried because, like, I agree with what you said. Like, you know, it wasn't all perfect, but we had mostly consistent stuff. You know, phases 1 through 3, like, you know, Dark World, Captain Marvel, whatever. But it was mostly good for the most part, and now it's like the audience is like they either hate it or really like it.
I wouldn't say it's not even mixed between the audiences. You're losing your general audience, and that's where you're failing. Because at a time, you could go watch a Marvel movie and not know anything, and they would kind of help you recap it a little bit. Like, you really didn't have to see the first Iron Man. You didn't have to see the first Captain America. You could go see the Avengers if you wanted. They would just tell you who everyone was right off the bat. You really didn't even have, I mean, you kind of had to see everything at the end for Infinity War and Endgame. But other than that, you still really didn't have to watch a lot to know what you need to know. The whole issue now, and this is where you'll come in. You have to watch how many TV shows now? You have to watch how many movies now? What the fuck, man? Like, this is coming from me. People know me as a huge MCU fan. And I'm disappointed in them right now.
I think also too with the MCU is the year. Let's go back to the year 2021, guys. I want you guys to think of all the projects. I'm going to name all these projects, and you tell me how much MCU everyone got in 1 year. You ready?
Oh my goodness!
We had WandaVision. We had Falcon and the Winter Soldier. We had Black Widow. We had Loki. We had What If. We had Shang-Chi. We had The Eternals. And we had Spider-Man No Way Home. I just named a buttload of projects.
That was in 1 year.
That was all in 1 year.
Oh my gosh.
I'm thinking audience got tired. And also too, Disney Plus. Yeah. Disney Plus is definitely key. Because to connect to the whole MCU, you have to buy Disney Plus to understand what's going on in Loki and what's going on with why these What If cartoons. Who's Captain Carter? And then it's like, and then you see her in Doctor Strange.
I knew people that had no idea who Kang was when they saw Ant-Man. I was like, you need to watch Loki. You need to watch Loki to really understand what's going on. Like, why is everybody so hyped about the main villain in Ant-Man, the average moviegoer? And I'm like, you have to watch a show to understand it.
You're giving people too much homework.
It's a general audience. It's the general audience that we seen you losing. Now, like you, Nate, Juan, me, everyone from Culture Shock, we sit and we'll watch Disney Plus, and then we'll go to the movies, and then we'll discuss. But to a general audience member, let's say like my father sometimes doesn't watch all these. He knows what
your dad hates the multiverse.
My dad hates.
That's where it's losing everyone is the fucking multiverse. Dude. Listen, I was all for it. I was all on board for the multiverse. I was like, okay, we're gonna have possibilities to see some crazy ass shit.
We might see Nicolas Cage again. Why not? You know?
That's what people want.
So you can go balls to the walls with this and have the most fun time. But hey, guess what? We're not going to the multiverse yet, but we're calling it the multiverse saga. But we're not fucking going there yet. Why would you call it the multiverse saga if only, how many projects did you announce? Only 3 maybe 4-ish projects have only delved with the multiverse and nothing else.
There was only 2 that tied multiverse, and then there was 1 in 22 that dealt with the multiverse. See, what we could have called this little first part, and I know
I could have called it the New Hero Saga.
New Heroes or the Skrulls, because we were in it because the Skrulls,
But barely they even
they're
did
barely
anything.
in it as well. But we're introducing so much, and then I think the new thing that people are complaining about is when are the Avengers coming?
Well,
And
I mean, it's kind of like it's that weird sort of. I have to turn off my subtitles. It's been bothering me. But you did bring it up. Like, how many movies and films and TV shows did the MCU delve into the multiverse? It's like,
Not
well,
a lot.
not a lot. I mean, there was potential for WandaVision to really do it, but they didn't do it. Falcon and the Winter Soldier, yeah,
No.
nothing. That no connection to the multiverse. We got Black Widow again.
No connection. to the
Looking
multiverse.
back to what happened before, and then we
Oh,
get
you missed one more project in 2021.
what was that?
Hawkeye.
Hawkeye.
yeah.
Yeah, again, Hawkeye.
But still, that's a lot of Marvel.
And like the thing is, Hawkeye is now setting up this whole Daredevil thing, this whole Daredevil side story that now they're going to be doing. They're going to be doing street level stuff now. So, like, what is there room for a multiverse? Is there room for a multiverse when Falcon is going to be Captain America and they're dealing with, remnants of Hydra and Shield and all these other mercenaries, and how Spider-Man's dealing with, street level crime at the same time. How are they going to fit a multiverse in there? How?
I think there's just too many stories that are going on while we're focusing on this multiverse saga. One, the thoughts of, what I just named all those projects and where the multiverse is. Are they even focusing on the multiverse? Or are we introducing, here's these heroes, which is great, and then, but this story's going on, this story going on, this is going to have to connect, and this is connect. How is this connecting to the multiverse?
I think I agree with what you guys said. Like, we've barely had any projects that revolve around the multiverse. And what we've had in the multiverse has been good so far. Like, No Way Home. You could argue it was nostalgia bait and Multiverse of Madness. Some people like it, some people hate it. But yeah, and
I don't even think Ant-Man really delved into the multiverse. It really delved into the quantum realm. Yeah,
quantum realm, and we had Kane the Conqueror, like the Kane the Conqueror.
Should have been the villain.
Listen, I will always fall under this thing that if they're going to introduce a character that has multiple variants and is really powerful, if Kang the Conqueror gets killed, there's going to be another Kang the Conqueror that comes back, and it's going to be even more powerful. So,
shouldn't rely
on it.
It's cheap.
But it comes with the source of like, people will come, say like, King died. Like, well, he was supposed to be set as the big baddie. But then it's like, here we come in and we're like, no. There are other Kangs. Like, if you stick around for that post-credit scene, you'll see all the Kangs.
You see Rama Tut, you see Scarlet Centurion, you see Immortus. It's like, yeah, those are like big bad threats out there that are as powerful as Kang.
Now we got Victor Timely.
And we look at spoilers. We did have Victor Timely.
yeah.
But that's just another variant. Kane never dies. It's going to always be a multiple variant. Even there is a good Kane, and
Iron Lad. We're gonna get Iron Lad at some point
eventually.
too.
Yeah,
hopefully, eventually.
We'll see.
I wanted to ask you guys, like, how with the whole controversy going on, how do you think it will affect it? Because with the whole Doctor Doom maybe coming in.
So I didn't really want to get into that necessarily, but we can get into that.
Okay.
Don't fucking do it. Do not do it. Just stick with Kang. Just write it out. It's gonna suck. You're gonna lose people. You're gonna lose the audience. Yes, Metro Boomin, make it boomin'. Don't jump to Doom.
It's too late.
It's too late. You're already deep within. Yes, you could argue Kang has not even barely kind of been established. you got to establish Doom. You should have
You have
dropped
to-
him in the post-credit scene in Wakanda Forever.
And
I'm
that-
sorry.
that-
It should have been happening.
And that could have been a great introduction, because then we could have, of course, we were all waiting for the Fantastic Four. But now you cut out Doctor Doom, and now you're saying that we're gonna mainly focus on Kang Dynasty, and we're gonna introduce him in this, and of course he's gonna be a villain in Secret Wars, and he's gonna cause all this chaos. And then with Variety reporting that Marvel is kind of reconsidering Kang and going into Doctor Doom, you can't. You've introduced your big baddie for the multiverse saga. You can't right away go, oh, Kane was just this villain. I'm the big baddie. Well, great. That's awesome. But what?
yeah.
It's
I
going
like
to
that
be.
they're trying to do Secret Wars story without Doom is offensive in itself. So that I'm gonna actually lean into my first quote, if you guys don't mind. Do you mind if I read off my first quote from an anonymous source?
Mm.
So this person said, and thank you for giving us your time tonight and all that, for giving people who gave me these quotes. These mean a lot. You guys know how much you're helping this out fun live. All I can really say is Marvel is losing its touch. And if they don't fix the problem and come up with better ideas that will catch the audience, we're going to start to see a downfall of the comic book movie era. They should just focus on Secret Wars, since that is their next big thing. They're leading up to it, and make the villain Doctor Doom. He is more important anyway. Kang isn't really that big of a threat like Doom can be. If they combine the 80s Secret Wars with the 2015 Secret Wars, bringing in the Fantastic Four and X-Men, I'm sure they'll have a big success. That is, if they write the teams correctly and follow the storyline correctly. I'd say loss of direction and quality, because they have put out some great things like Loki, WandaVision, and even Moon Knight, but they're slacking in the movie category. That's what we all discussed. If they could lessen the shows and get rid of them altogether and focus on the movies, they could get back to where they started. Sometimes it is best to go back to the original formula and have the solo movies that build up to a team movie like they did in Phase 1. That was when they were at their best, besides Infinity War and Endgame, because those are just big team-up movies. And then I did ask this person if they were interested in the Marvels, because this is going to be the big question coming up later is, are you interested in the Marvels? And I hate to be the bad person here, I am going to discuss that end credit scene that in the Marvels that got leaked out. I'm sorry. It's not enough to drag people.
No.
But this is what the person says. I enjoyed the trailer. I think the movie will be fun. I don't want to let the current reviews of it diminish my thoughts about it. As we get closer to the movie coming out, I feel like I won't enjoy it as much. I just worry about the reshoots they did. I think it will do better than Ant-Man 3, but not by much. Unfortunately, there's still a lot of toxic people out there that will attack an all-female superhero movie because of their own masculinity problems. But if they're going to say anything bad about the movie, it shouldn't be any comments about the being female superhero and how that made the story woke. It should be a genuine criticism, whether it be the filming, CGI, story, costumes, etc. So that was our first person with our first big quote. And yes, that person hit everything there. It's like how Cody's saying right now. It's like doing the Infinity Saga without Thanos.
And the multiverse is, multiverse deals with Kang. It's infinite people, and a person, and another anonymous person that I was talking to yesterday. You are now this far with Kang in Loki season 2, Ant-Man Quantumania, and in Loki. You can't go straight to Doctor Doom. Doctor Doom needs to be built up, because Doctor Doom is more of a menacing villain. He is a threat to Marvel. He is
The threat.
He is the Marvel bad. He is
a chess player.
Especially if you've read 2015.
If
he literally grabs Thanos by the throat and just kills him on the
spot. There's nothing that can really phase Doctor Doom.
He's a chess player. He knows your combat. He knows what you're going to do next. You can't set that up. That has to be set up from the beginning of end of Phase 4, which you could have done. Had that talk with Namor, and bam, there you go. But now, because you cut it out, and you're now going back to your green button of, I need to get Doctor Doom in, that is red flag number 55 right there. You can't do Doctor Doom yet. Doctor Doom now.
Doctor Doom is now. Doctor Doom is now has to be done with an Eternity Saga. They need to do that with like a Galactus, and they have to do all of that stuff too. And I don't think we'll have time for any Galactus or any kind of planet-wide threat like that when we're dealing with the multiverse. We just don't have time for it.
You can't,
especially not now. We don't have time.
I know.
If we did it early, it would have been fine.
It would have been great. You can't do Doctor Doom. Now all you can do is introduce him as a post-credit scene. You introduce him in the Fantastic Four, and it's throughout these whole movies. Every movie now, you see, and we're gonna build up to Doom. If they end up doing that, we find out that Kang ends up getting killed by Doctor Doom and the Avengers and the entire Marvel Legacy universe. We find out that is like their first villain, and he becomes a bigger villain in phase 7. Then perfect. We have set up a big baddie. We know how threatful it is. We now know the Avengers do fully need to stay as a team instead of breaking away every time. Ooh. Sorry.
Get into the second quote. Give you a break. Give you all a break real quick. All right. The second quote. Now I can finally give who gave it to us. It is our thumbnail editor, Blue. Hi, Blue. I love you. If you watch this, I want to kiss you and make out with you. Anyway. I told him I'd say that live. He didn't think I'd say it. All right. So this is what Blue had to say on this subject. Here's the thing. Some people believe that the MCU is in a state of disarray, or it's losing its creative direction when it comes to the quality of its productions. Personally, I've seen these concerns mentioned by some critics and fans alike. From what I've found, some of the reasons given by those think the MCU is facing issues include perceived deadline and quality of writing, coherence, visual effects, and pacing. I've also seen claims that the MCU has fallen into a formulaic and repetitive pattern, with many movies and shows adhering too closely to the established franchise rules. Furthermore, some have expressed disappointment in the slow start of the current phase and the absence of a prominent big bad villain, which that should be Kang, but which I can understand may be concerning for us fans. However, on the flip side, there are some of those who firmly believe that the MCU is still going strong and has exciting plans for the future. They mention the upcoming Phase 5 and Phase 6 as particularly promising, with the new storylines and characters on the horizon. Additionally, the potential of the multiverse to introduce fresh storytelling opportunities to the MCU has been highlighted. Some even argue that that criticisms of the MCU are exaggerated and that the franchise still boasts a substantial fan base that continues to enjoy its product. In the light of recent news, it does seem troubling, but I believe that the media's backlash will skew Marvel and Disney's option and move forward with an effective plan to not only serve fanfare, but also construct stories that we grew up with. So what do you guys think of that? That's from our thumbnail editor, Blue. That's what he had to say so far.
I'm still on the side that Marvel, I don't know. I found some of the projects in Phase 4 to be pretty bearable. I am one of the few that somewhat had somewhat of a good time watching Ant-Man 3. I enjoyed Ant-Man 3 to some extent. I had some problems with it, sure, but Ant-Man 3 was one of those that I was like, oh yeah, that was good. I didn't enjoy Secret Wars. That's just a given.
A Secret Invasion.
Secret Invasion was just, I don't know. That was a joke. That was a joke. I don't even remember anything that happened in that series.
If I could get that 6 hours back.
Yeah, if I can get that time back, I would be. Nothing would have changed. If I were to get that time back, nothing would change. It's that worthless.
That was a piece of turd. That was a piece of turd. Sorry to cut you off, man. That was awful.
That was how The Rock said, the biggest piece of dog shit.
And that had a lot of hype. That was going to be a spy show. It sounded awesome. It sounded great. And then
Sam Jackson had a producing role. Role in it, and it ended up going.
And it feels like for Nick Fury, they wrote him helpless, dude.
Oh, I know.
Like, what the fuck? Like, you're the Nick Fury. How are you helpless? You were never helpless. You never.
I don't know. I just can't. I just had a problem with everything that was like it was all of the bad CGI combined with this this drawn out story. Honestly, if Secret Wars was one of those shows that would be made into a movie, I think it would have been made into a pretty decent movie if they actually put a budget into it.
They did
The Secret Invasion. I mean, I'm
Secret Invasion could have been a movie. I don't know why it wasn't a movie. To be honest,
it should have been a movie. Again, a lot of Disney Plus TV shows should be movies. A lot of them. Okay, I like some of like.
I could argue maybe WandaVision.
WandaVision was better as a show than it probably would have been in a movie.
Yeah, no, that worked as a show. Falcon and the Winter Soldier, maybe.
Movie.
Could have been a movie.
Moon Knight would have been a great movie.
What If should have stayed a show.
Absolutely.
I don't think I could have watched a...
no.
I don't think I could have watched a cartoon movie like that for 2 hours.
Loki?
Loki's a good television show.
Loki could have been is a good TV show, but it also could have been a really good movie too. Actually, I think it would have been a good movie. Yeah,
Miss Marvel would have been a great. Actually, I think Miss Marvel would have been an awesome, fun movie for
She-Hulk could stay a show.
Yeah,
She-Hulk can stay a show. Hawkeye, I think, could have been a movie.
Oh, you just made Kyle happy, Nate.
I think Hawkeye should have been a movie. I'm sorry. With how much they just firstly when they completely sidelined him in the first Avengers movie, he deserved a movie. He deserves a movie. If Black Widow gets a movie, Hawkeye deserves one.
Yeah,
exactly. Oh man, you're just making Kyle cry. I can just feel it right now. Kyle's crying.
He's like crying good tears. He's like, someone believes in Hawkeye. You did forget Hawkeye, so that might be.
Oh well.
It's like every other Avenger has gotten a movie. Every one of the original Avengers has gotten a movie except for Hawkeye.
Yeah.
Hey,
that's the disappointing part about it.
Hulk, he got a Christmas special.
Yeah, he did get a Christmas show. I think that was
Hulk got a movie.
Yeah, but you can do Hulk as a movie. You can't do Hulk as a show. Or we'll get the She-Hulk treatment in the CGI. You can't.
But no, it just disappoints me. You got Hulk as a movie. You got Thor. You got Iron Man. We got Black Widow. We got Captain America. And we just didn't get that Hawkeye movie. We just didn't get it.
Okay.
We might have another joiner in this.
Out of Phase 4 and Phase 5, out of these two phases so far, mostly Phase 4, what was your go-to? What was your go-to one that you enjoyed? And then what was the biggest disappointment to you?
See, I'd say No Way Home for my go-to, but actually I'm going to go with Shang-Chi.
Okay.
Yeah, Shang-Chi was really good. Disappointment. You said both phases, right?
Yes. It doesn't matter.
It's not Secret Invasion. I'll say What If for me.
Okay, What If? Okay.
What If was your disappointment or?
Yeah.
Yeah. I agree.
It wasn't horrible, but
it had too many episodes that didn't really
hold
your attention.
They were good. Some of them were.
The Doctor Strange one was.
Some of them were Emmy
my favorite.
Or Emmy Award winning ones.
Marvel Zombies were pretty cool.
I love Marvel Zombies. It's becoming that became a Halloween tradition.
Oh yeah, we got that show coming.
I'm excited for that.
Spider-Man freshman year. Where's the news on that?
Actually, we'll get into that. We'll get into those. We'll get into the cartoons. We'll get into this whole thing because Spider-Man. Because that Spider-Man show is gonna basically.
It's canon in the multiverse somewhere.
It's canon in the multiverse, so yeah. But we're going through this phase. If we're having some kind of connection, another anonymous person and I, we were sitting down, we're looking at it like, okay, Kane is gonna connect to this, or Kane's gonna connect to this. We've introduced Kane and Loki, he who should not be remain. We've introduced the first multiverse variants, and from different dimension. No Way Home. We went to different Earths.
Mm-hmm.
Doctor Strange. We've introduced again Kane the Conqueror, who traveled into a different time and entered into the quantum realm.
I do have a bunch of quotes, but we can.
Vanished.
Oh,
he was vanished. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, all right, you guys. I'm gonna read off the next quote. Juan, you're gonna like this one. This is from Mr. Stephen Freeman, your other co-host of Red Nerds Lair. I got a quote from him today. He goes, and I quote, I think the more so loss of direction than Shambles. Like the bit about RDJ and Scar and like the bit about RDJ and ScarJo could easily have been taken out of context, aka Secret Wars, then the major thing wait and see. I'd rather have Doom fit Secret Wars personally after reading the comic.
Mm-hmm.
So you have a lot of people still leaning towards Doom, but again,
it's too late. It's just
we have your favorite person next as a quote.
Well, okay. So all right, and then we'll get to the next quote. Yeah. So Secret Wars. If we said so, like I said, if in Fantastic Four we introduce it, and then throughout these other Marvel movies, as we lead up to it, then Doctor Doom can be led up as the big baddie in Secret Wars, but he's gonna have to do something to make basically Kane a joke. That's how it is. But we can get Almighty God Doom if we need to.
Mm-hmm.
And it could be a variant, and maybe they don't know who Doom is yet. And it might be a different Doom. If the idea is to touch upon that we're going to do the 2015 Secret Wars instead of the 80s one, the Battle World one. Okay, then all right. Then we got to make sure we get that Doom, but we got to introduce the variants, all that. Oh man, we're going to have a good, God, we got a good one.
Yeah, Aiden here, let me add him in real quick.
But as Steven was talking about it, RDJ and Scarlett Johansson returning as a thought.
I think that was the original plan, to have them come back and
that's fine if they come back in
Secret Wars, but it's a panic button to go. We got to find a way to bring them back.
It's the whole
breaking case of emergency jar.
Joe Rogan had stated it clearly in his podcast with Robert Downey Jr. Once you introduce time travel, you can't really close that door. You just can't. Okay, so it is unfortunate, but yeah, Robert Downey Jr. and ScarJo are probably going to be coming back in some way, shape, or form, whether it be in Secret Wars or in Kang Dynasty. It's going to happen.
It's not the panic button, but the idea of just bringing them back so the audience can be happy again. That's great.
I do have a quote on that one if you want to hear that.
Yeah,
one.
absolutely.
All right. Yeah, we'll just say this one because it has to bleed in with the Iron Man. It's from another anonymous source. This one was kind of had me crying, laughing a little bit when the person told me this. My love for Marvel will drop to hell if I see Iron Man back.
Okay, well, if we don't see Robert Downey Jr.'s Iron Man, okay, imagine they're just deciding, okay, well, how about it's not, or in the case, an event that Robert Downey Jr. doesn't even want to come back. They could always get somebody else to play a variant of him. True. Somebody that can be as charismatic and, as cool as Robert Downey Jr.
I know who said that. Keep the people anonymous.
Okay. And like, for example, if they get Tom Cruise in to play Iron Man,
that's fine.
I don't care as long as we get Iron Man. I mean, honestly, it's not Avengers without Iron Man.
It really isn't. Okay,
you can put Ironheart in the movie. It's just not going to be the same. It just won't be.
No. All right. Ironheart did not hit the same beat, especially in Wakanda Forever. It just did not feel the same.
She felt very flat. I'm going to be honest.
She didn't even feel like she should have been part of this movie. This should have been a focus on Shuri. It should have never been a focus on, because now we just reintroduced the new character. Sorry for cutting you off.
You good.
But as we're going to go around this table, because we're now call it the round tables. Yeah. All right, the RDJ and Scarlett Johansson, and let's just throw in Chris Evans as okay. We're gonna bring these guys back, but they're not going to be for Secret Wars, and they're not going to be for King Dynasty. They're going to have their own movie that's going to tie in with all this.
Chris Evans I don't think Chris Evans is going to be coming back as Captain America.
Right.
I think Chris Evans is coming back as the Human Torch.
Right.
That's what's happening.
Very well could be
That's
true.
very much happening.
Very vocal, he said. But as an audience, let's go around this table. Juan, do you think that's a panic button to bringing back the original Avengers? For, let's just say, they need to be in something before Secret Wars and Secret Invasion, maybe their own movie.
I'm gonna say yes, it is. Because, like, you want to hype up these, like, newer ones, and you want to get us emotionally attached. Plus, like, you know, we already, to some extent, we already had, like, our closure with, you know, Cap, Tony, Natasha.
Yeah.
That's just me.
Aiden, what are we thinking with that? Panic button? Should we not panic? Do you think that's going to bring?
I'd say it's more on the panic side, just because they're trying to bring back more nostalgia, and then instead of using more original ideas and trying to, you know, flesh out new characters, add more emotion to them, and just try to get the audience more captivated and into these newer characters, and trying to just bring back the old ones and basically used up, you know, stuff that's already, you know, people already felt the same kind of emotions with those characters, and it's just gonna not feel as natural.
Nate, the nostalgia feel to it.
I think it's a full-blown panic, but if they play their cards right, if they write the story right, I think they can do it. They can do it. I mean, have the original Avengers, just have the first 6 Avengers fight Kang for the first time in Kang Dynasty and have their asses just handed to them. You know, something like that would be okay for me to have them, for Marvel to have them come back in a way to have them show off Kang's power in the first place. You know, but in terms of bringing them back as main characters, that is a for sure panic button. That sets off so many red flags. Now they can do it. They just got to do it very carefully.
Lorenzo, don't throw in your white. How do I say this? Don't put up your white towel yet. Don't surrender. Like we said, stick out with this. You got to stick out with King. I know you're losing people. You're losing your general audience. You're losing your comic book readers. I know some comic book readers would say, no, the Marvels is going to do great. It's going to do fine. No, listen. Here's my whole input. Now, I'm going to say this in the nicest way possible. People know I like The Flash. I like that movie a lot. I thought the movie was fun. I thought it was great. It was everything I wanted out of a DC movie. A nice send-off from one universe, getting me ready for the next universe. People know. They told me I've overhyped it. I said, okay. I said, it's fine. I said, you know, at the end of the day, I liked it. I got the movie I wanted out of it. Now, you had people judging The Flash, not going to see this movie. Now, people are judging the Marvel, and you're having people complain. You're having, like, just random Marvel fans complain. And here's what I'm going to call out that's complaining. You guys know I don't like this person. I really don't like this creator. I think he's the biggest piece of shit. He's a scumbag. Shouldn't have his platform taken away from him because of all the shit he's been tweeting out today. And believe me, I watch. It's
Soups?
2 people. One is Soups, yes. Definitely Soups. Soups should not have a platform anymore. That he does not know what the fuck he's talking about. And the other one, his name is Blu-ray Angel. I think both of them deserve to they should have their platforms taken away. Because one, they are not comic readers. They are trying to.
No, I'm not a very big comic book reader either, but I look into the information on the characters.
That's fine. You can do that. But when you don't know like the full extent of the story of the multiverse, and you're trying to subscribe to the Twitter Blue, so you get the ad revenue from that. You get the monetization from the Twitter. You know, that's fine. But don't make it so clickbaity. I've seen 3 TikToks today. Now, when I tell you these guys should be embarrassed of what they've talked about today, they should be embarrassed. They all had the same, I can't believe I'm saying this, the MCU is in shambles. Now, notice how we didn't say that when we started. We just raised the question, is it in shambles or is it just loss of interest? Because it goes one of 2 ways. Now, you don't like Soups.
I don't.
You don't like HTV Joe either.
I don't like any of them because I also am going to say this, and it's not because I'm calling them out or anything, but it's like, I really believe they are a big cause of why Marvel Studios went straight to Secret Wars. I don't think Secret Wars was ever on the plate at one point. I think Soups somehow got millions of people to say Secret Wars is where we should go next. And I think someone at Marvel looked at it and said, let's do Secret Wars. And now here we are. And I really believe that half of these TikTokers that were Marvel influenced, many people have influenced so many people that Marvel even went, well, maybe that's where we need to go. When there are other Marvel stories to tell first. Secret Wars should have been your last Marvel story to tell.
You know, yeah.
Then what do you do after Secret Wars?
Exactly.
You reboot the entire thing with everything you had before.
The other thing
with honestly, the whole purchase of Fox was to get everything they didn't have back.
Yeah.
You know, we're not going to get a Dark Phoenix. We're not going to get a Dark Phoenix within this the next. We're not going to get a Dark Phoenix for a long time. Okay, let's just say that we're not going to get a Dark Phoenix for a long time. We're not going to get any. What are other big storylines they haven't? They've
Days of Future Past.
We're never going to do that again.
I mean, House of M, I don't know.
Yeah, we're not going to get proper X-Men stories for a long time.
We're not.
Okay, so they're going to reboot everything, and then we're finally going to get our X-Men stories, our true reboot.
To my point, to the influence TikTokers, whatever you want to call them, clout chasers, fucking cock guzzlers, I don't give a shit. So, here's the thing. I kind of tolerated them during 2020 and 2021 because they had good points. Now it's just to the point where you're getting so clickbaity, you don't even know what you're talking about at this point. And it's obvious. They're
flying them out, too. They're flying them out to places, too. That's the sad part.
Here's how I know they're ready to jump ship over to DC, and it's being super obvious now. Because here's the thing. They all have their little contract thing with Marvel where they get invited to screenings and stuff. Notice how none of those guys got invited to the Flash premiere. Notice that. Warner Brothers, I don't think, wants to work with these guys. Disney is slowly putting up with them and Marvel to the point where you have Soups almost sucking Kevin Feige's cock. And it's just obvious at this point, dude. Like, he's trying to hype up the Marvels. I was like, listen, I get you're excited for the Marvels, but don't act like you know about the big villain in the Marvels when no one clearly knows.
I have no idea.
What is it? Dar Ben, whoever the villain is.
I have no idea. I'm going to see. That's all I know. I'm going to see it, but it's
and now here's the big thing. They were all freaking out because the post-credit scene got revealed, and they're trying to act like it's a big ass deal. One, I said I was going to mention it because fuck it. It's the movie's not going to do good. I already know. I already told everyone in our Facebook chat. I could see this movie making maybe opening weekend. I'm gonna throw maybe 130 million.
And can I?
And it's ending its run at 550 million.
Can I say something about that?
Yeah,
that's interesting. Okay, so he said those numbers. Those aren't even MCU numbers.
That's what Ant-Man made.
That's not even MCU numbers they made back in the day. Captain Marvel made $1 billion
back in 2019. How much?
Yeah, that's 2019.
Made 1.2.
Yeah, and then Marvel was the top of the top of the top
in 2019. Almost all of their movies, no, just Disney in general, almost all of their movies made $1 billion.
When throughout the whole 2010s, Marvel was the top dog, and then we're now looking at because I was saying to myself, Ant-Man Quantumania is gonna be the first $1 billion Marvel movie again. And we're not even hitting that.
It wasn't even close to $500 million.
And Guardians of the Galaxy's not even.
No, Guardians was the highest out of the trilogy.
No, did it make $1 billion?
No, it hit like 800
million.
There we go. Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, the last Guardians movie, didn't even hit that billion mark when probably the first two were about to. That's the thing is, people are losing touch with Marvel lately. They really are. And I hate to say that in many ways, as we are diehard comic book fans and we will go see these movies to the day we die. But at the end of the day, the general audience doesn't even know.
And that brings up another good quote that I can jump to real quick.
Yeah.
So this is from two people, Jen and Reyes. Thank you for giving a quote for this one. Jen goes, "I wouldn't say I'm too interested in the Marvels. I feel there's better out there."
Mm-hmm.
And this is what Reese and Jen both had to say together. While the characters are interesting within themselves, they could be portrayed better. No. This goes into the Marvel's post-credit scene.
Mm-hmm.
I really just want to talk about it because I want to get your guys' opinion on this. So, before the article came out for Variety, last week, the post-credit scene got leaked out. And, that's common. Post-credit scenes get leaked out for Marvel films like a week or two before the movie. That's fine. This is where they were trying, the TikTokers, Soups, HTV Joe, Blu-ray Angel, were trying to hype it up like it was the big character. Unfortunately, no, because no one gives a shit about this movie. This movie flopped back then. This was Fox's flop back then. And I'm going to tell you which movie it is.
This is actually the first comic book movie I did not like in theaters.
Yeah, no one liked this movie. If someone says they like this movie, they're generally lying, and you have a full authority to punch them in the face. So let me tell you who's showing up in the Marvels. At the end, from what I've heard, Monica does a blast thing. She gets sent to another Earth. That's fine and dandy. I don't give a fuck about that. Now, if you're going to sit here and tell me Kelsey Grammer's Beast is a big-ass character that's going to pull people back from X-Men 3 The Last Stand, you are generally lying to my phone.
What? No way! No! It's the worst idea ever.
On top of this, now here's what some people got excited about, because Ryan got a little bit excited. They're bringing back Maria Rambeau again as Binary now this time. So again, we've already seen her probably one in Doctor Strange as the Captain Marvel of that Earth. Now we're going to see her in the Fox universe as her other Binary. All right. Listen, that's fine. We're getting multiverse stuff. Okay. That's cool. That's fine and dandy. But Kelsey Grammer's Beast, you're hyping that up? You weren't even at age to understand X-Men The Last Stand. Comic book movie fans did not enjoy X-Men 3. That's why they rebooted the X-Men.
And then failed again.
First Class?
Yeah. It failed. Well, no, because then it jumped to X-Men Origins Wolverine.
Oh, yeah.
Magneto, that First Class movie was supposed to be just a Magneto movie. But then they said, Matt Vaughn was like, hold up, I can make this an origin for the team instead. We'll kind of bring back the original team, but they added Mystique, which is still pretty cool. I liked Mystique in that movie. I liked everyone in First Class. There's a reason why.
I feel like they should have brought back the actor who played Beast in the reboots. Honestly, that probably would have gotten people. Nick Holt. Yeah, they should have done Nicholas Colt.
There's a reason, even though people don't like him in Hollywood. There's a reason. Also, Bryan Singer left to go do Superman. He did not like what Fox was doing with X-Men 3 The Last Stand. Because while he was trying to write, or they didn't know if they were going to keep him for Last Stand, because he was already got offered to come do Superman, because he was only contracted to do 2 X-Men films.
Yes.
Fox had Simon Kinberg and another writer at the time write 2 scripts and Frankenstein them together for Last Stand.
As the oldest Marvel fan here, when he told me that, I was like, okay, that's gonna connect to Deadpool 3. All right, cool, because that's what Deadpool 3 is. It's gonna be a Fox universe connection movie. I said, awesome, that sounds good. It would have just made sense to have Professor X, I think, show up. I think it would have brought a run into it to have audience clap. But if you have seen X-Men, the X-Men movies, and that's kind of hope everyone is doing well. Everyone's doing all good. We're just flipping out.
Oh, we're doing great. We're just pointing out how the MCU is a mess, and the Marvels is going to try and fix it with the TikTokers lying straight through their teeth, and I want to punch half of them.
And Juan, when I had Lorenzo tell you to do X-Men, it was because of that, because we needed to talk about the X-Men movies, because I don't feel like we touch upon the X-Men a lot as we touch the MCU and we touch DC and Sony. So I get, it's going to be the introduction. That's just what Beast tells me, is that we are getting our original X-Men. We are going to get the original X-Men back for Deadpool 3. That's all it told me by just that one thing you told me. And you told me, you're not going to geek out. You're just going to be like, oh, okay. And I was, and
Yeah.
and then I was like,
I
and
knew.
then I explained it to him like, we're just gonna get the original X-Men.
Because
back.
I know you don't like Last Stand. No one likes Last Stand. If someone says they like Last Stand, just tell them they're lying to them.
No.
I watch it when I'm bored.
Movie.
That's it.
No,
watch it
I
when
don't
I'm
even
bored.
watch it.
pass
I
over
don't
that.
ever. I don't ever try. I don't ever watch that one. I haven't revisited the X-Men movies in so long.
I think I watched the first one when they got put on Disney Plus. I really haven't watched 2. I hear 2 is the best one.
2 is phenomenal.
I mean,
2
I've
is
watched bits and
fantastic.
pieces of it. I don't know what it is.
Kyle.
Kyle, please shut up. That's me being nice and respectful, dude.
No,
Kelsey Grammer.
he was.
He was
He
good.
was.
But
But like
just not
nobody cares.
But if we're being honest,
Yeah.
nobody cares about Kelsey Grammer's bees,
If it
dude.
was, it should
not
have
gonna do
been.
enough.
Should have been.
No.
Dude,
2 is perfect.
Yeah, X2 is honestly, you guys. X2 is perfect, like Spider-Man 2.
I could get into
Kyle.
Kyle's quote while I was here.
Awesome, Kyle. I mean, Kyle, you would
Afterwards.
agree. X2 is up with Spider-Man 2, bro. Let's go with
All
Kyle's
right,
quote.
we'll go into Kyle's quote and then we'll circle back to this. So this is from Kyle, our perfectly good lawyer, our very good lawyer. Why he's here. You guys will hear more of him coming up in a future project. Kyle, I would agree the MCU has indeed lost its direction that it once held before. I will say with massive amounts of projects being pushed, it can become very overwhelming to an audience. What made the MCU good was that there was a good writing staff tasked with a stellar cast. Yes. Now, that's not to say that there isn't a stellar cast currently, quite the opposite.
Exactly, Kyle.
We have seen
Why
perfect
does it make sense?
casting gone down the drain due to the writer not fully understanding the characters. What needs to happen to Marvel is needs to slow down and reassess what they are putting out. Many people did approach me about the massive news surrounding Daredevil Born Again, and I could see that is Marvel understanding and fixing a problem that would have been a massive later on. With that show being a whopping 18 episodes, which is more than double their usual format for a Disney Plus show, they need to make sure that the project is up to Marvel standard we had. I also believe that Marvel needs to focus on the story at hand. Well, yes, this is the multiverse saga. It is possible for other projects to lead into smaller events. Take, for example, how Age of Ultron led into Captain America Civil War, and how that in turn led to Black Panther and other projects. As long as there is a fluid story progressing, and the story is shown or teased clearly, that everything is good. That is what made Marvel Studios the machine it is today, fluid storytelling. I don't believe the MCU is in shambles. It just hit its first rock. And it needs to really hold their standard to writers. In essence, they need to take back creative control and really fine-tune who they hire and the product they are putting out.
Quote.
Travis got an Travis. The issue is inaccessibility. To the casual viewer, they think this is Captain Marvel 2, but it requires 3 seasons of a television show behind a paywall, and a casual viewer. Travis, thank you so much. Someone that understands what we've been trying to say this whole damn time. Woo!
I mean,
Yeah.
honestly, it makes so much sense. I am not going to stop watching a series that I'm already interested in. Okay,
Yeah,
I could be watching a Star Trek series. All right, I'm not going to stop in the middle of that to watch an entire series for a Marvel show. I'm just not. But I'm going to, because it's Marvel. I have to keep up with it. If I want to keep up with the movies, I gotta watch the shows.
So
you can say this one.
So this is a good one. So this is from one of my friends. I won't say who. Oh, they've definitely lost it. I think they're trying to have the success of the Avengers without building up to the moment first. They did. They also advertise the people who have kept up with everything they've pulled out, like the TV shows and movies. You can't watch a Marvel.
I like that, Travis. I like that a lot.
Yeah.
When Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. was on, people were made fun of it
Well,
because
it
of
would-
how it was, and it was
yeah.
a more larger MCU.
I
And
think it
cable
was
television free.
was
Yes.
it the end of season. It was either the end of season 1 or season 2 where they connected it to Age of Ultron. I
But
don't remember which one it was. but-
what this quote is, she says, you can't watch a Marvel movie for the sake of watching it. You have to watch 10 other things to even know what's going on. It feels like they only care about profit and not seeing the plot to me. But I also haven't seen the newer stuff. Well, that's the thing is, this friend,
Mhm.
I went to see every Marvel movie with this person, and we would get excited. Now, when I talk about Marvel, it's like, oh, which show do I have to watch first to understand this? And it's going on with my other friends. My other friends aren't catching up on Marvel.
Do you know read Marcus's quote? We didn't get to Marcus.
Okay, so
we're gonna read a few quotes and just have you guys think about everything that people have. So these are some outsiders who, we've been saying a lot. You see them pop up every now and then.
A lot of these guys are my friends, and I get really heavy in discussion with all these guys. This comes from one of my buddies. Well, I do kind of agree that it has been in shambles, and it has made me lose a little interest in Marvel and gave up a little hope on it. But I still think after a few other projects I've seen, they still have something there. They just need to take a minute to figure out how they want to put it together instead of just putting out projects with no connection. And that has been a very big thing I have heard from all my other friends is it's not connecting. There's no connection. It seems to be very campy lately. That has been interesting is one of my friends also too, Sam, I will mention his name, Sam Berger. He says MODOK was
this scene right here with the mind reader.
Yeah. It's getting.
Oh, they wasted him, dude. They wasted him. I forgot what his name, but I know he's a good actor because people like him on The Good Place, or it was a show, The Good Place, when it was on. They wasted him. Oh my god!
But getting back to the quote, he as my buddy Marcus actually says, I'll say his name now. I feel like after in the game, they should have took off a couple of years, just sit down and figure out where and they wanted to go, and how they were going to connect this multiverse. The idea, it is awesome and is perfect, but right now it doesn't seem like they have a solid ground of what they're doing. The other person I just read, her name's Victoria, and she was all about Marvel. Like everything was connecting. As the shows kept going on and on, she started losing interest in it. And as my other friend Elia, she's starting to lose interest in it. A lot of my friends, to just not blatantly put them out there, but a lot of my friends, they're losing interest because they gotta watch this and they gotta watch this show. Like, it's not a constant movie where you can get together in a movie theater and sit down and watch this movie. Now it's got to be, here's a watch party, and people don't have that time still too. And the investment in Marvel is starting to become where you got to watch this. You just got to watch everything now.
It's a giant television series.
I'm going to have to watch Falcon and the Winter Soldier again before Captain America comes out. I don't want to watch it again, but I'm going to have to,
We have a few more quotes we can get through.
Hold on. One more. It's one question, I guess. This guy right here, Aiden. Tell me. You work in a movie theater. You manage a movie theater. How's the pre-sales for Marvels?
Not good.
How are they?
Not good.
Do we have any sold out theaters? No.
I'm not worried about buying my tickets now.
I'm not worried about it.
I'm not worried. I'm just gonna go.
And you want to know what's funny? For us here, Juan, it really doesn't apply to you. It comes out when Motor City is happening next week,
and that should be a big.
Not to mention, you have it's not Marvel's fault. It's not Motor City's fault. Usually, Motor City happens in October, but they put it back a month to compete with YomaCon this weekend. Grand Rapids is this weekend, so it's a big convention-heavy week or two here in Michigan. And you're dropping a Marvel movie during a convention. Usually, it's played out fine, because people want to go see. May. No, May was later in the day, or May Motor City was later in the month.
Well,
it never competed with them.
Okay.
But you want to know what's funny? I think a lot of our audience here is in Michigan is going to go to Motor City Comic Con. They're not going to go watch the Marvels.
I'm going to go see Marvels next Thursday, probably with him after I get off work. That's what we're doing. Honestly, we were talking.
Probably going to go watch it. I was going to go around 3:00 just so I could get in and out, but even if so.
But
Travis, what are you talking about, man? You're getting shows about side characters with spin-offs to the side characters.
Echo.
Of the side characters.
Echo.
When people want the headlining stars and to know what's going on with the Vision Quest, Echo, Ironheart, who the fuck else? Oh god, dude.
No,
It's-
but
Agatha.
But Agatha, I think everyone's invested in because of, Agatha was probably one of the best side characters. But Echo, okay, why? I want Daredevil. I want Kingpin. I don't want Echo.
Yeah. Daredevil's in a weird place right now too. It's like I read about that.
It's
I
a
was
nightmare
like, are
right
you
now.
kidding me?
Listen,
I
think
We haven't
Shambles is
talked
a
about Blade.
We need season 4 of Daredevil. Like we need the
Here's my
continuation from
input.
the next
That's
bit.
what I told people. After the multiverse saga,
We need a break.
no. Not even a break. A break is good. A year break. Give me a year break. But this is going to be the big one.
we said the same
Kevin
thing
Feige should
after.
retire.
Yes. I
Listen,
100%
Kevin
agree.
Feige has already made what, $4 billion to his name. He's already in the
He's
building.
made Disney a powerful company.
He's made Marvel Studios. He needs to retire. We need someone young who can get in there. Unfortunately, you don't have Gunn anymore. He went over to DC. That's fine. Actually, I have a question for that later.
Okay.
But you need someone who's a more avid. Like, listen, I wouldn't say Kevin Feige is not a comic reader. He's a comic reader. He's not as avid anymore.
I think there's just too much because also in this big book, I don't know what the book's called. Oh, how Marvel conquered Hollywood.
Oh, MCU, the Rise of Marvel Studios.
Rain.
The Reign of Marvel Studios.
Everything was, there was great communication throughout 1, 2, and 3 phases.
Yeah.
And then phase 4, and then people were kind of like asking us, it's that episode of Seinfeld where Jerry gets a weird Chinese gum and this doesn't, he doesn't like him, but doesn't hate him. So the guy starts giving him cases of it. That was a funny episode.
Yeah, that's basically what Marvel is. It's like a gumball machine. You go put your money in, you twist it, what flavor you get, I don't fucking know. It's not the flavor you're expecting. You're gonna eat it anyway.
Oh no, it's not the flavor you're expecting, but they're all the same flavor. It's just you're conditioned to taste a different flavor.
Yeah. So we have 2 more quotes we can get through, maybe 3 real quick. One is from our buddy Rob. I want to say Shambles. I do think some movies could be better. Yes, I'll go see the Marvels. Worst case scenario, I spend $5. I've paid more to see worse. I've enjoyed Loki so far, but I feel like the movies are losing steam because Marvel's more focused on the shows. Good point.
Mhm.
This is from our buddy Todd.
Don't worry.
It would be stupid if they replace Kang with Doom. They can replace Majors. Good point. From another buddy, he's big into heavy with DC, so that's the holy shit. Is that
You see that stuff every time, single
so? This
time.
is what I asked a few people because I talked to a lot of more DC fans. I said, "What do you guys think of this Variety article?" Shambles is probably a more clickbaity, to be honest. Chaos or Disarray sounds good. Along the line of those. So I'm going to ask you guys this. Now, this is where I haven't even told him this question yet. It's what I asked a few other people. Now, with Marvel scrambling a little bit, I'll say scrambling, not in shambles. Just they need a better. Feige needs to focus up on what's going on. Here's the question. And this is, I think you're going to be stunned by this question. Do you think it's now Warner Brothers' time with DC?
Oh yeah.
Now, they're focusing. We got Superman lined up, a new Batman, Wonder Woman show, Creature Commandos, Green Lantern, Waller, Peacemaker season 2. Do you think it's DC's time to kind of take that spot?
Oh yeah, 100%. I knew after you told me, you said, was it time? It's like, yeah, it will be time because
let me put it.
It will be DC's time, but I will not be invested in it. I just won't.
Let me tell you this. Let me say this. Do you think now DC is going to have the more quality over quantity, and it's flipped now?
Yes, I do think so. I think it's going to take Superman. I think Superman Legacy is going to be that Iron Man movie. And then I think we're going to be watching all the other shows because Peacemaker was a huge hit. And I think when we get to Batman, Brave and the Bold.
Travis, I like that. When Age of Ultron came out, it was mediocre. Yeah. I really didn't think it was mediocre. I thought it was okay, good.
They released
It
too many.
wasn't
Okay,
bad,
there were
but
some
it
issues.
wasn't good. Yeah.
Yeah,
There
there's
was
some
some
issues with
issues
Age of
with it.
Ultron, just because it was
Alright.
setting up Infinity War and everything.
Yeah, and it's like, okay, you're
It took
introducing
Civil War to
Thanos.
ground everything to a human level where you cared about it because of the characters. And that's
Ooh.
what's needed in this new film. Yeah.
Yes.
So we watched, I don't know if you guys are familiar with the Critical Drinker. He brought up a valid point about Civil War. That, at the end of the day, sure, it looks like two dudes fighting it out, but you know why Cap and Iron Man are fighting. Because they both believe in a side.
The only character that you feel any empathy for was Wanda throughout this whole I mean, don't get me wrong. Moon Knight was one we figured it out later, but any empathy, it was Wanda because Wanda just wanted her kids, and it was gonna take her to be broken and evil to get those kids any way, any possible.
Yeah.
Again, for this multiverse, dude, nothing is connecting. And you're just like, even we've sat and watched stuff and we're like, what the hell is going on?
I think
here's the thing. We're stunned when we can't explain the multiverse saga to people.
And you're trying hard to.
Like, here's the thing. I found it easier to explain the Flash to people than the whole Marvel multiverse. And the Flash to you guys was shit. To me, it's just, hey, Barry goes back in time. He wants to save his mom. He ends up meeting Michael Keaton's Batman. They save the day. Kind of save the day. He goes back. Oh, it's George Clooney now. He's still fucked up. He's got to go back again.
So let's touch on another universe, and then we'll get back to this Warner Brothers one, which I agree.
Ooh, I just now thought of something.
Yeah.
With the line of shows, we have Marvel shows. We have DC shows. Here's where everyone's thinking the quality is great now with superhero shows. Amazon Prime. You have The Boys, Gen V, and Invincible.
Yep.
With that season 2 is dropping tonight.
Yep.
Believe it or not. And then Omni-Man's also showing up in Mortal Kombat now.
And Homelander is going to be in there too. So
and Homelander. Peacemaker's also.
Yeah. So yeah, no. Warner Brothers and Amazon are definitely taking in.
And you want to know what's a big slap in the face to the Snyderverse cult? And I found it hilarious because I was cracking up at this tweet. I think it was today or yesterday. So Netflix, they inked a new deal with Warner Brothers. They're gonna get some movies. So they got Man of Steel, Batman vs Superman, Suicide Squad, Wonder Woman, the 2017 version of Justice League.
Yeah.
Why?
Wonder Woman 84. They didn't get Aquaman or Shazam or Black Adam. Yeah. But the whole thing was everyone wanted Netflix to buy the Snyderverse, but it's not the movie they're getting. They're not getting Zack Snyder's Justice League on Netflix. It's staying a Max original for as long as it is. And I found that extremely funny because even these big companies think these people are a fucking joke. And you still
I'm not gonna dispute the fact that the Snyder Cut is undoubtedly better than the 2017 cut.
It's a better quality.
It's a better movie. It's a better movie.
Yeah, it's a better movie. It's better quality wise, everything. But at the end of The Flash, I'm happy that this universe is over. We don't have to sit through what didn't even feel like 10 years. Because it's 10 years too.
It was 10 years though.
I know that's the funny thing.
It was 10 years.
Like 10 years. Because we skipped a year where we got no DC content in 2015, and we got 2014. Was it? Oh, Man of Steel came out in 2013.
2013, yeah.
2013 was the start.
Okay, this is a great character I wanted to talk about. Okay, so this is one character, Aiden. I think all of us we should talk about Spider-Man.
Mm-hmm.
Spider-Man.
So, okay, yeah, Spider-Man.
We've had some type of Spider-Man content since.
Would you call Star-Lord a guaranteed draw?
Every single year.
I think just with Guardians.
Yeah.
Okay. Thor.
Let's talk about
that one could be debated.
This is the spoilers, even though it's already out. Let's talk about Spider-Man in Across the Spider-Verse. We saw.
Oh yeah.
We saw that Marvel timeline. We saw
the sacred timeline.
The sacred timeline of Marvel.
Yeah.
What is it to feel that while Marvel's in shambles right now, Sony is also trying to pressure their movies into connecting into the MCU when right now that the Marvel Cinematic Universe is in a little bit of trouble, but yet
you think
Spider-Man's gonna save it all? Spider-Man had his hit and misses.
No. Here's what I
Spider-Man.
love. for it.
Okay,
Speaking of
Spider-Man.
Spider-Man. Well, I'll let you go now. I'll let you go first.
Spider-Man. Sony wants to do something completely different with Tom Holland, even if he even is coming back. We don't even know he's coming back. For another one.
He is coming back for Spider-Man 4. It is.
It's in the works.
It's in the works. We can't. We're not allowed to talk about it. We're not allowed to talk about it because of the strike. But Zendaya, John Watts, and Tom Holland are coming back for Spider-Man 4, and they want to get Spider-Man 4 out before Kang Dynasty, because evidently Spider-Man is rumored to be one of the leaders of the Avengers.
Well, yeah, I think what they want to do with what Sony wants to do with Spider-Man is completely different from what Marvel Studios wants to do with Spider-Man.
No, here's my whole take on that Spider-Man being the leader. No,
it's not.
Don't make Spider-Man lead. Spider-Man is not a leader character. And this is what I tried to explain to Jen, and they were getting confused by it. So here's what I've heard with Secret Wars. You have your leads, right? The leading the Secret Wars team, allegedly, Multiverse Army, it's going to be Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man and Hugh Jackman's Wolverine. This is where Deadpool ties into the picture. Yeah. Allegedly, Deadpool is not... It's a Deadpool movie at heart, but it's also a Wolverine movie. It's not called Deadpool 3. It's not called Deadpool vs. Wolverine, even though we're going to see stuff. Apparently, the TVA, we're going to see at the end of Loki, start getting this army ready for this multiversal war. They're going to go to each universe and pick a prime version of the hero. Now, here's where the part gets confusing. This is where I was having trouble believing this. You're going to have Tobey Maguire Spider-Man lead this team. But you're calling, from rumors and leakers and all that from sources, you're calling Tom Holland Spider-Man the prime version?
The prime Spider-Man's going to lead that new Avengers team. But also too, remember we read rumors there were supposed to be 3 Avengers teams now for Kang Dynasty.
But the big thing is, and this is what I told Jen, this is what I told Reese, this is what I told everyone. Spider-Man should not be... Really, Spider-Man shouldn't be an event. Spider-Man works better when he's by himself. He works better as an alone character.
He's a friendly neighborhood.
The best part about Spider-Man is he's like Moon Knight. They're just
he shows up and
he just shows up. He doesn't know what's going on, just like in Civil War and Infinity War. He had no clue what was going on, and that's what makes Spider-Man funny.
There's a really good quote.
He tries to make stuff up.
There's a really good quote in the Age of Ultron comic where they're all in a meeting and they're like talking about Sword, like the agency Sword. And Spider-Man just comes in and is like, well, I'm level 57 in World of Warcraft. That has to count as something, right?
It's my other great quote, I don't know where it's from, what comic storyline, but it's Spider-Man and Moon Knight just sitting there.
Oh, yeah.
And they're watching Gamora do something. And he's like, and Moon Knight is like, I forgot what Moon Knight did. I think he zoned out for a second. He's like, hey, man, what's going on? He's like, I forgot what he tells Moon Knight, because Spider-Man's always a smart ass. That's what's great about Spider-Man, is he doesn't have to be on a team. He can always just be there and just kind of assume what's going on. Yeah. The thing with Spider-Man is he tells Moon Knight, he goes, I don't know, something about like Gamora being the daughter of Thanos or something, or she was going nuts. And Moon Knight goes, oh, so like nothing important. He goes, just start punching who I start punching. And that's the funny thing about Spider-Man, is he can just interact with people, and it's the funniest thing. I don't think Tom Holland's Spider-Man is a leader. Unfortunately, no. I don't think that. Yes, we kind of got it a little bit in No Way Home when he's like, oh, I was on a team, the Avengers. Oh, the Avengers, cool. What's that? He kind of had to explain what the Avengers were. Because again, he's usually just there. He's never a leader. And that's what made that whole interaction with those 3 great. Spider-Man's never a leader.
Not any of those Spider-Man's leaders. They were all like, oh, okay.
Like, this is the first time we're working together with people. Well, I mean, you could argue Toby worked with, New Goblin. Yeah, but like that was like a 2-second thing, and that's just them being friends, being able to click and fight with each other. Right. But Spider, like even in the Spider-Man games, like when he's with Miles, he's kind of just like, yeah, I don't know. I guess I'm gotta wise up because I'm the leader and I'm older now. Like But the thing with Spider-Man is he's always cracking jokes. That's the thing about him. Whenever he's in a fight, and there was a thing I saw.
Relatable.
What comic was it? There was another comic panel. It was talking about how Spider-Man is the greatest hero. How he never takes stuff seriously. Like, again, he's always just there. That's why he never takes stuff seriously, and it's hilarious that he doesn't take stuff seriously. because like you could just be like, like what is Spider-Man doing? He's just hanging from the ceiling or he's on his phone most of the time. Like he doesn't care. He cares when it like his neighborhood's threatening or like the people close to him are in danger. But other than that, Spider-Man's not a leader. He doesn't know how to deal with Kang, a multiversal threat. It's really out of his element.
He's chill.
The most he's done is fought in space. He's fought a purple alien who wanted rocks.
Yep.
And that blew Tobey Maguire's mind.
He's like, oh, I'm still like wrapping around that you fought an alien in space. And then there's just Andrew
I want to
Garfield.
fight an alien.
I want to fight an alien. Like again, like Spider-Man isn't in those situations. If you just read any Spider-Man thing,
Okay, I could see I could see Tom Holland, Andrew Garfield, and Tobey Maguire Spider-Man teaming up and leading the Avengers in Secret Wars.
Yeah.
Those three in particular leading the Avengers. I can see that. Tom Holland on his own? No. But all three Spider-Men? Yes.
Here's why I think should be a leader in King Dynasty. Give Sam Wilson the shot.
Ooh, yes.
Sam Wilson's going to get a shot in Kang Dynasty, yeah.
Again, he's Captain America now. That's ball and simple. He's Captain America. But also, just if we're going off characteristics, Sam has fought with Cap, Steve Rogers till the end. He's followed orders. He knows how to give orders. Literally, in Civil War, Sam started calling the shots of what to do at one point. That's what made Sam Wilson stand out.
Yeah.
Sam Wilson
and I think
your buddy.
The current chain of heroes in command is going to be Cap or Captain America, Sam Wilson, and it's going to be Shuri, and it's going to be.
I think it was Shang-Chi was the third.
Well, are we going to leave out Rhodey?
Oh yeah, Rhodey, and we also have Captain Marvel too.
Oh, let's talk about the other elephant in the room. Armor Wars. Where did that Jesus Christ, dude!
I think Don Cheadle just wanted to make another movie. He didn't want to deal with the TV show. A lot of producers actually who moved from TV shows to movies enjoyed making movies more than making TV shows. Gene Roddenberry went from doing Star Trek the original series to the movies, and he didn't want to do another TV show, but he had to do one. So yeah, I think Don Cheadle wants to make a movie. I think
here's the thing
simple
with Armor Wars. They announced it. That's cool. Armor Wars. That's fine. Like what happens if Tony Stark's tech? But we've heard nothing of this movie.
It's gone dead.
It's gone from show to a movie. It's gotten a new logo. That's fine. It's gone dead now. It's radio silent. Like
it wasn't even talked about. It wasn't even talked about
at D23 last year,
or at San Diego. They didn't really talk about.
I'm thinking it's something else. It's not Armor Wars.
There's a reason why RDJ is also being talked about, trying to bring back. I got a feeling that he's gonna be the AI. I feel like we're gonna touch that.
We're gonna get into all new, all different.
Yeah, the all new, different Iron Man
or the Marvel Now or whatever it's called.
But
the worst comic run ever because that's what we're in with Gore the God Butcher, Quantum Mania kind of.
We're getting to that end of that 2014, 2002 all the way to probably 2015.
It was 2011 to 2015, 2016.
No, it's 2014 all the way to 2017. And
have Josh Brolin return as the Thanos who saw what became of his victory, now learning the threat of King.
That'd be cool.
Ooh,
that'd be kind of cool.
Yeah, I'd be down for that.
But so as we get ready to wrap up the show, I wanted to ask you guys all this. You got all the quotes?
No.
Okay.
I'm done with the quotes.
All right. One thing we didn't touch, but we'll I want to just see what happens is the Mahershala Ali blade. Like he almost walked off.
Fucker, dude. Don't get me started with that bullshit.
So, but
all right, here's what I heard about that. Because I know stuff about that. I'm gonna take over on this one.
Gotcha.
So here's what I heard with Blade. Now this is gonna surprise a lot of people. There was a free comic book day comic that came out last year out of Marvel. It had a new Blade comic. We didn't know the context of it. We didn't know why. It's this person talking about Blade, and they refer to Blade as their father. Mm-hmm. Now, this is where we got introduced to a new character completely. Has not been seen in any Blade media ever. Blade now has a daughter. I don't know what her name is. It's just titled Daughter of Blade. Now, this is why Mahershala Ali almost walked off. They want to make it female-led. So they want to focus it not on Blade because, we got the Blade movies through New Line Cinema. No. They want to make it female-led because the Daughter of Blade comic is happening right now. Now, let me stop you there.
This is too new.
Yeah, that's fine. Too new. But let me I was a little heated by this. Why the fuck are you giving us a Blade movie that's not Blade? And that's not even the worst of what I heard. Apparently the last script for Blade had him learning life lessons. Alright, I'm gonna paint you a picture. If I tell you, hey, write me a movie with a guy, runs around with the sword, he's got some guns too, he's going
Kills
to kill
vampires.
some vampires. Yeah.
Yeah.
You can have the easiest script made. Why in the actual fuck do you want to focus on his daughter?
You don't really, when they really don't know much about the daughter.
She is too new. No one really knows. Her first appearance was in a free comic book day book.
Mm-hmm.
Not to mention, you've gone through 4 fucking rewrites.
Yeah.
This movie got announced back in 2019.
Yeah.
It was supposed to come out last November.
We're
now in November of 2023.
And
Where the fuck is Blade? Even Fantastic Four got announced in 2019.
Mm-hmm.
The fact that Superman Legacy got announced this year, we got the full casting almost for that movie. Where's our Fantastic Four casting? Where's our Blade casting? I'm sorry.
Nope.
The people who are saying James Gunn is not fit to run DC, no, he's way more fit to run DC. He's gotten the stuff done quicker than Marvel did with 2 projects that are their most anticipated projects.
The Fantastic Four, as you told me, we have the casting. We are just waiting for the strike to end. One of the big things I think about Marvel too is as much as we say Marvel's in shambles too, also Hollywood's in kind of shambles right now because there's an actor strike going on too. But to lay out the question of the end of the day, and we're gonna go throughout the table, and I really want to hear everyone's opinion.
Mm-hmm.
What is going to give Marvel its comeback? Let's sit down and let's think here. What is that one movie you think Marvel's going to get the comeback? As he ponders and calms down, I'm going to throw.
Yeah, you guys go.
I'm going to throw the floor to Juan. What's the Marvel movie that's going to save Marvel?
I don't even know what's coming out at this point.
What comes out next year?
I'm
got
clueless.
Deadpool 3 next year, Cap
Oh,
4.
Yeah.
I'll say Deadpool 3.
Thunderbolt. Thunderbolt. Yep.
I'm
You
going to
think
say
Thunderbolt?
I'm gonna say
Anything else next
Fantastic Four.
You're with me on that one. Aiden.
For next year?
No, Aiden, what do you think is that one?
Invasion.
What do you think that one Marvel movie is going to save and give it that comeback we're looking for before Secret Wars?
Before Secret Wars. I was going to say Deadpool 3, but I mean, I don't know about that one even. That's tough to tell, but most likely, if they have the casting right, Fantastic Four. I'd have to agree on that.
Nate?
I'm going to say Deadpool 3 because I've been keeping up with Deadpool 3 production. I mean, honestly, it's a much more interesting project, in my opinion, and it has news connected to it, and it's Ryan Reynolds and Hugh Jackman actually doing their thing, and they're not getting any interference from it. So they're just doing their own thing, and they're making a movie they want to make. So I'm like, yeah, I'm obviously going to be down for that.
Director.
I'm obviously going to be down for something like that than Fantastic Four. Because I don't know the cast for Fantastic Four yet.
We're gonna find out about the Fantastic Four. Let's wait for this strike to end, and then we're gonna find out who they are, and we're not gonna complain because we've been waiting for this casting forever. This is worse than a Batman casting, in my opinion. Or who is Spider-Man gonna be? Lorenzo.
I want to say Fantastic Four. I know they're gonna screw up somewhere with Fantastic Four. I can listen. It's been through troubled production. You've had talks of Adam Driver taking up the role as Reed Richards.
Smith.
Him dropping because he couldn't connect with the script. That's Matt Smith taking up the role. Then Matt Smith bailing out. Jake Gyllenhaal, but that went quiet.
John
Krasinski, but we've seen him in Multiverse of Madness, and Marvel doesn't want him back as the prime face of Fantastic Four. We've heard of Vanessa Kirby wanting to be Invisible Woman. We've heard Margot Robbie. They're trying to get big names for this movie. That's what's killing them. If they just go back to basics and cast no names for this movie, like how they normally do. Like, here's the thing. Shang-Chi casted seemingly. What was he really known for? Really nothing. Movie blew. Everyone thought that was gonna. Same thing with Thor. Chris Hemsworth was a nobody. Tom Hiddleston, a nobody. You have
I mean, Robert Downey Jr. wasn't a nobody though.
Well, no, I'm saying when first Thor got announced, everyone didn't know who Chris Hemsworth was.
I saw Chris Hemsworth in Star Trek before he was Thor. I knew who he was.
But he wasn't a leading.
He wasn't a leading man.
In anything.
He wasn't a leading man.
Same with Tom Hiddleston. They weren't leading men. Oh, God, it's just for Fantastic Four. I think if you get fresh faces, you're gonna have a better shot. If you're trying to cast like how they did with Eternals, that's where I think Eternals messed up. You casted Oscar. It was almost an Oscar star-studded cast, and then that script was just awful, dude. Movie was so fucking boring.
I don't think I ever rewatched that one.
It's so hard to rewatch. He fell asleep the first time we saw it.
No comment.
We went to a screening for Eternals very early on. And, he had gotten off work. But, like, in the first 30 minutes, he had fallen asleep. And I was almost falling asleep and go, Jesus Christ, if I'm falling asleep during a Marvel film, that means it's fucking boring.
If I'm falling asleep to a Marvel movie, you know it's bad.
Yeah.
But I'm going to shock you all.
Okay.
And this is why. We're not talking about it really much. And if everything builds up really nicely, and we get to that, and we find out it's funny, it's fun, it's action packed, it's great. Thunderbolts. It's gonna sound crazy, but the Avengers. I didn't even think Avengers was gonna I knew Avengers was gonna do all right, but I didn't think Avengers was gonna do. Everyone knew Avengers. But Thunderbolts might actually do good. It sounds crazy. I'm talking out of my butt, but it might actually be good. It all depends on the villain, and it all depends on.
Here's what worries me, and this is what I heard the villains. I heard the villain Sentry. That's fine, but you casted Steven Yeun as Sentry. It's the weirdest cat. You casted Glenn from The Walking Dead as Sentry.
Mm-hmm.
Now,
That's kind of
here's where I would backtrack it now. Because the person is built for the role. And I'm not trying to sound mean. I'm not trying to sound like a dick. I like Steven Yeun. He's great as Invincible. They should have casted. They could have thrown a wig on him. It would have been fine, even though he's bald right now. You should have casted J.K. Simmons as Sentry. Because that man is built. Have you seen that man? Got
old.
Yeah. At the same time, he.
Or
he's not really as. It's not as.
You should have found a way to get not Henry Cavill. Anthony Starr, who plays Homelander.
Yes,
to come do Sentry.
Because not him as Dracula, him as Sentry would have made so much sense.
What about Henry Cavill as Dracula?
That would have been cool.
Because he did The Witcher. So,
But no, the Thunderbolt seems to be what is everything that was leading up to this movie, and it sounds interesting. I mean, guys. We live in Michigan, and, we got one of the Thunderbolts actually, coming to Michigan.
David Harbour's coming next week to Motor City.
And I'm not going to, he's going to talk about Stranger Things, but I wonder if we're going to be able to hear something about Thunderbolts.
Hopefully the strike gets resolved to where you can maybe ask. Hot take, but I think could be a fantastic Silver Surfer. You know what?
Yeah. Maybe.
I'd be down with that. Make the Silver Surfer have a little bit of humor, or not humor, just be awkward a lot. Because Keegan-Michael Key, when he does humor, it's awkward humor, and it's really fucking funny. You could actually pull that off.
See those?
Look at him. He's coming up in Wonka this December. So
that's right.
Good.
No, but the bloopers. I don't know what movie it was, but it was Bryan Cranston and
why
where he's trying to sit down next to Bryan Cranston and Bryan Cranston just can't. It's like it's the stare. I think it's the stare
You're talking
in his eyes.
It's him and James Franco. He's gonna marry the daughter. Why him? I love that. The movie is so funny.
But like he's trying to sit down next to Bryan Cranston with that Keegan-Michael Key stare. And it's like it's the funniest thing. But I don't know. I can't really think of anybody I would want to play Silver Surfer. I mean, I'm not even thinking that far ahead. I don't even think we're gonna get Galactus.
My top choices for if they do cast Doctor Doom, my top choice was, I think it was everyone's. Keanu Reeves at one point would be a pretty cool. Cillian Murphy.
Yeah.
What about
that was the one that was highly talked about.
What about Bryan Cranston as Doctor Doom?
Actually, Bryan Cranston would be cool as Galactus. He's got that kind of voice.
Yeah.
Wait, I have one. Bill Skarsgård.
Bill Skarsgård would be cool as. Oh, I'd love him.
No, Bill Skarsgård is Silver Surfer.
Ooh, that's good.
Bill Skarsgård could. I mean, like, I'm still upset that. What's his name? Mads Mikkelsen was casted as Caecilius because he would have been the perfect Doctor Doom. He would have been amazing. But sadly, they casted him as Caecilius, and that was like
blue. I should be too. You should.
Look, everyone else.
It's true. You should be. You got the costume.
But overall, I think this was a really good round table discussion. What?
My cat's messing around with the tablecloth.
Scare the shit.
Yeah, where's Wonder Man?
Where the fuck is
it's
that?
Canceled.
Did it get canceled?
It got canceled.
Oh yeah, because what's his name was supposed to be in it?
He got canceled.
Better Call. What's his name? Nate. Better Call Saul.
Bob Odenkirk.
Yeah, he was supposed to be in that.
Oh my god.
He got.
He was literally supposed to play a lawyer in that show too. That's the funny thing. That's why I was kind of looking forward to it.
No, it got canceled. That's one.
Because again, who actually gives a shit about Wonder Man?
Oh, it would have been interesting at the time, but no. The big point is that it can Marvel can make a comeback. It's how it is in comics. Everyone's got that crappy comic book run.
Yeah.
And then we get new directors, and then we get a new creative team, and then we get a really good team, a really good Marvel, like Nick Spencer's Spider-Man run, Ryan Stegman's Venom, Immortal Hulk, the Jason Aaron's Avengers, Jason Aaron's Thor. It's all gonna be, it's just like we're gonna treat it like a comic book run. Right now, we're in that really weird comic book run that we just don't understand. Like, we just had this hot take. Now we're in that real one.
So let's quickly recap before we end off, because I know it's getting late for a lot of people over here.
We gotta watch Loki. Some of us.
Yeah, just a quick recap. Mahershala Ali was ready to leave Blade due to script issues. The story point reportedly morphed into a narrative-led led by a woman filled with life lessons. Blade was relegated to a fourth lead. Now that the Logan writer Michael Green, he also wrote, from what I heard, Blade Runner 2049.
An excellent.
Has been hired to restart the script from scratch. So that leaves me in good faith with that film.
That one's good.
Marvel discussed moving away from Kang to Doctor Doom, which we talked about earlier.
That was the big time.
Marvel also looked into bringing back the original Avengers.
That's a panic button.
With Iron Man, and they haven't committed to the idea, but it's just a break glass kind of panic going nuts. The Marvel's review, the ticket sales are down. It's received meddling reviews, which people are trying to say like, "Oh, that's good. It's receiving those reviews," and it's like, yeah, but we've heard superhero movies receive really great fucking reviews. It's meddling is like half and half, with ticket sales being down. No one's talking about it. No one's excited about it.
Plus the strike.
And then there's some other stuff with Jonathan Majors at the end of the month, where we're gonna find out if they actually do go for, if whatever happens, if he is guilty. Then I feel like Disney and Marvel are going to hit that panic button.
If we find out that Jonathan Majors, then we're going to have to come back here, reassemble as a team again, as this team, and we'll discuss what is the next step, how do we move away from Kang, or we need to just get it recasted, and then we'll come up with who should be Kang, or if Marvel
John
confirms
David
Doctor Doom, then we'll just theorize how they'll do Doctor Doom.
Mm.
Yeah, that's how it's
pretty
gonna go.
much.
Like I said, we'll give it to the end of the month because that's when the Jonathan Majors trial is going to start. From what I heard, as CEA, I don't know if it's his manager or whoever, already parted ways. And that leads me to believe that I don't want to say he's guilty, but usually that's not a good sign.
It sounds, in the
because here's the thing: as much as a lot of people like to say, "Oh, Ezra Miller," you never heard people leaving Ezra Miller. They stuck with him.
The stories of Jonathan Majors is that he's actually kind of an
asshole
on set.
And we've heard people try and say Ezra Miller was an asshole on set with the Flash, but then you had people like Michael Keaton come out saying, "No, he was kind of the kindest person I've ever met." And then you had George Clooney. You had George Clooney give this kid life lessons.
And he was just a little troubled, and now he's
which we all get to that age where you're troubled. You go through it. You don't know what to do.
It's called depression.
Yeah, it's called depression.
I mean, honestly, I think with whoever quit from Jonathan Majors' management probably just couldn't handle the publicity for it anyway. So they kind of just they were just like, you know what, I didn't sign up for this. I'm just gonna quit. I don't want to deal with this. That is also very much a possibility too.
Yeah, that's usually what happens. But again, you had people who were literally tearing Ezra Miller apart the moment Jonathan Majors came up. He's innocent. He's innocent. He's innocent. And then you have some people also saying, "Oh, Disney's going to make a mistake again by pulling a death." And it's like
Tron during Ultron. Yeah, no, perfect.
But
honestly, Travis, that's a perfect way to set it up too.
You also had, who was it? Skinner, or one person who's the comic reader, saying, "Oh, Disney's gonna pull a Johnny Depp court case again," and it's like, yes,
it might happen. It could happen.
But here's the thing, though. You're having people who worked with Majors in the past on Love County, Creed 3, which was very recent. That was at the beginning of the year.
That was good.
Ant-Man, kind of. You have some people coming out off of that set telling us that Majors was kind of a dick.
Yeah, so but that's hardly if he was just an asshole on set. I mean, a lot of people are assholes on set. I mean, Brad Pitt and Tom Cruise on set together was not a pretty thing. Okay, this happens in Hollywood all the time.
It does.
Well, that's why Wesley Snipes got blacklisted for Ryan Reynolds came out and was saying
like Trinity.
Yeah. That's why the people were saying, "Oh, Wesley Snipes is in Deadpool 3," and Ryan Reynolds was like, "No, I'm not working with that man again. He is not allowed on the set."
And hold it. Already looks like it. Just put Adam
bring up something that wasn't in the variety. I don't know if you saw this, Lorenzo. There was that rumor that Sony wanted to make their universe canon to the main MCU.
That's kind of
already happening.
Yeah.
That's not a rumor. That's actually true.
With Donald Glover being in Across the Spider-Verse, it's kind of like
it all just.
Which I know some people said that was stupid. I was like, no, that was.
I was like, no, that makes sense. That totally makes sense.
It makes sense. They said his name is Aaron Davis.
Hold on. Yeah. 2 weeks are up, right? My 2 week spoiler is up.
Oh, yeah. Why? What do you want to talk about?
Okay. No. Hold on. One, the thing you posted, that now makes sense. That the Insomnia. Nate, is it cool if I spoil this?
For what?
You want to talk about PS5 Spider-Man 2?
Oh,
I platinumed it.
Yeah, I don't.
Okay.
I don't care.
There's a scene after we collect all these spider bots, and I collected all the spider bots, by the way.
Nice.
And
you see a deleted character.
You see a deleted character that was supposed to be in Across the Spider-Verse.
Yes. And
then, of course, in Across the Spider-Verse, we see Insomniac's Spider-Man.
Yeah.
It's already a connected universe. We have all the Spider-Mans connecting now. So it has been a connected. Aiden's just all excited.
It's been a connected universe. It's been a connected universe for a long, long time. I mean, the moment Venom was transported to the MCU, that was kind of like.
And now Michael Keaton's Vulture is in
the whatever that
Yeah, so many
Whatever.
universes.
So
Like,
proud, aren't you, Aiden?
It's
I'm just
19.
It's
I'm
big.
I'm
I'm
kind
looking
of
at
I'm
himself.
kind of hoping what they do with that universe is they find some way to shoehorn in Andrew Garfield Spider-Man.
They
You know,
will.
They
There's
will.
been talks about it.
like
From-
have the
from-
Morbius movie universe be connected to
Oh, jeez.
Andrew Garfield's, and it's
Yeah.
like, yeah, I would like that. I'd be okay with that. I'd be okay with Tom Hardy's Venom going up against Andrew Garfield's
Yeah,
Spider-Man.
no, even that.
Yeah.
That was even a rumor.
But
But wrapping everything up, this was a great talk, you guys. I think I think we ventilated a little bit too much
we
too.
ventilated. We weren't
Mhm.
nice. That's
Nate.
what we said we were gonna get into it. I told him, I'm gonna rip on just what's happening, dude. Like, I can't just sit here and act like, because
Nothing.
Nate, I love the MCU.
I love it too. It's
And
there's
you
a
hear
lot
me
of
complain is a whole different thing.
well, it's
I'm
like the
just
same thing I complain about. I complain about Star Wars. It's
Yeah.
but
But-
it's.
Like I said, like he said, let's see what happens with Jonathan Majors. We'll still come back,
Yeah,
and we can still figure out what's salvageable.
I
if
don't
the
think,
Majors are clear.
and I don't think the whole Jonathan Majors thing is really going to see any sort of like anything bad. I mean, if the actors are just saying that he was an asshole on set, that's barely anything.
Mhm.
It's barely anything to say.
The way to see at the end is how you know you're actually fully going to give up with Marvel now is I feel like this when the whole multiverse saga ends. When the whole multiverse saga ends, or when you see an Avengers number go less than not even $1 billion on opening week, then we know that that Marvel is kind of done. Let's just take a break.
Yeah.
See, and it sounds like Amazon, and it just sounds like Amazon's going to be able to dominate the comic books, and so is Warner Brothers for a while, and then Marvel will make its comeback again. But really quick with Culture Shock stuff, stay tuned. There is stuff coming out. There is I will keep saying this because it is happening. Batman and Robin will be coming out this month. That's all I'm gonna say.
We just haven't decided. We're in this really weird editing stage with Batman and Robin that I just want to be completely clear with. Everything's all done. Recording. All we got to do is narration left.
Which
Because people got to know what they're hearing with an audio drama.
And I'm working on it right now.
The other thing is we don't know if we want to just drop it as one big thing. We have talked about if we want to do it episodically. Because usually that's fun. Get people to tune back and get you guys having fun with it. We are kind of deciding our next few projects.
And I don't think we're ready. I don't want to.
1 week. I want to kind of talk about one.
You talk about one, okay?
So there's been this idea where if you've watched Nostalgia Critic, if you watch Matt Pitt, if you watch JonTron, it's a lot of face-to-face camera talking with scripts, and it's something I really wanted to get into. And I want to educate, and I talked to him about it. I go, it'd be cool if we had our own kind of show that kind of distinguished our whole, like, how we view everything. One of the show's idea that we're currently working on, it's called The Canceled Show. And this has been on my mind for what? I've had this.
You've had it talk since we were talking about Nicolas Cage.
It was, I would say it was
Nicolas
since
Cage.
The Flash came out. I've been talking about this wanting to do
Yeah.
a show like this. So if people don't realize, there's been superhero shows that have been canceled. And now you get the YouTube videos on here where someone talking into a mic and you have
And they show pictures.
they
and
show
script-
pictures and stuff. And that's fun and all, like that's cool. But like what if we were to take that and go one step further and kind of educate people like what the budget would have been, like the backstory. So this is kind of a story that's been on my mind. We were going to do Superman Returns or Superman Lives. I ended up scrapping that. I didn't know what to do for a month. And I sat down with him and I go, you want to know what people always talk about? It's Tobey Maguire and Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield. So we're going to try and tell the story of why Spider-Man 4 and Amazing Spider-Man 3 got canceled.
And it's actually, we're not going to talk about it. We're not going to talk about the story, but it is a really interesting story of how Spider-Man 4 becomes the Amazing Spider-Man. It's actually incredible. And that will be the description. There are going to be 3 parts to this.
Maybe 3 parts. Still looking at 2 parts at the moment.
But
we didn't know if we were going to 3.
But the one thing is that's not going to come out till next year. One thing that I will announce, and I think a lot of people are being excited, is we're gonna do a Superhero Academy Awards this time. We're gonna actually give comic book movies that I think deserves Oscars.
Yeah.
And we're gonna have presenters, we're gonna have music.
We're gonna have the whole shebang. It's been talked about for a while that we want to do something like that. I brought up the idea to him, and I'm like,
forget what Mark and Scorsese, that superhero movies aren't cinema.
Well, no, it's just been like the past 3 Oscar shows, like just comic movies in general. Like the Batman got snubbed the hardest, dude.
The Batman was a very, 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 very good movie.
It was
love that movie.
It was. Listen, I would put it on par with It's the New Dark Knight, the Batman.
It's true.
Oh yeah,
I'd
say so. Yeah.
And you're talking to the dark, and you're talking to like one of the number one Dark Knight fans.
I love the Dark Knight so much,
but the Batman,
is like,
yeah,
it got people happy for Batman again. It brought back. The Batman. I would say it brought back Batmania.
Mm-hmm. It did.
I'm excited
to know what this movie was about.
I'm excited to see what the second one's going to be about. It's going to be wow. I mean.
What's the other big one? We're gonna do another audio drama too. You want to talk about that one?
I do. Okay, there's actually possibly 2 audio dramas. I'm not gonna say the first one right now.
I'll announce who's doing the first one.
Yes,
because I'm just kind of outlining it for him at the moment.
Oh, we are doing it. Okay,
we're gonna do it.
Okay,
we're gonna move forward.
All right, can I talk about this a little bit? What are we calling it? We're calling it the trial.
No, not yet. No title yet.
No title.
I will just say our buddy Kyle is writing a new original story. We're setting it in the Ultimate Spider-Man universe. That's kind of been decided.
Sweet.
We're gonna pick it up a little bit after the Clone Saga, and that's where everyone likes. So we're gonna try and continue that storyline. Right now, it's just deciding on what characters we want to use. We're not gonna say what characters we're using.
Okay.
A lot of those characters are gonna be a surprise. Because I think a lot of people are gonna be kind of surprised we're throwing a few of these characters in the Ultimate universe. Well, especially one character that has never had a presence in the Ultimate Comics universe. Mm-hmm. And I'm going to just say the story revolves around Venom, because everyone likes Venom. I've never met a single person who doesn't dislike Venom. But Kyle Prophet, our good buddy, wants to write a story. We told him yes. We were looking at it. We're kind of getting the premise of it down. We're having a little trouble again with characters that we want to use, because it was do we want to do live action or thing? Then we leaned to let's just do an audio drama for it. That's the fun part.
That's what makes me happy. Why hear that?
The second one we're gonna do.
Ooh, I can't wait for this.
You want to talk about this one?
Yeah,
you can talk about this.
So I'm excited to announce this. I can fully announce this next year. I have talked to my producer and my director. I'm gonna announce this too. I am stepping down as Batman for this one. This is gonna completely shock you. I'm gonna be helping, producing, and I will be directing this with Lorenzo. We're gonna do the Flash, and we have the Flash casted. We have Barry 2 casted.
Barry 2 is right here with us.
Yep, we are going. There will be there. I won't say I'm stepping fully down as Batman. I will make a Batman cameo.
Yeah, we're gonna rewrite the Flash script a little bit. We're gonna look at it and see what worked and what didn't work.
But it was kind of a headache to do directing and producing and acting at the same time. So.
We're both taking a back seat on this one.
I'm excited.
I'm maybe have like a line or two. I'm gonna tell you. Can we announce who I am?
Yeah.
So I'm doing Ben Affleck's Batman for this project because I'm a huge Ben Affleck fucking fan. So I said I'll do Ben Affleck. Aiden is gonna be our Barry 2. The other person who we have as Barry 1, his name is Jacob Cañete. You'll get to meet him a little bit more. I just have to wait till we can get the fully script for the Flash, and then we can start working on it. But, we did talk about, let's do our version of the Flash. Let's get people showing, like, how good kind of the story was. Because the story of the Flash, it's a good story. Mm-hmm. As much as you try and shit on the movie with CGI, acting, the story, it's Flashpoint. Yeah. Everyone loves Flashpoint. And our whole thing is we want to make it a little bit prettier. We want to fix it up. We want to do it the way people know, where you can listen and be like, oh, now the story makes sense of what we're doing. We have a few more projects in the work. There's another one we were talking about. It's kind of just going to be like a TikTok show that we've just been talking about. It's going to be like, how do I describe it? It's going to just be called Average Thoughts with Adam. It's going to just be Adam's take on like various, like, think of, what is it, Jeff Goldblum show on Disney Plus. That's basically what average stuff. It's just the same thing.
If the way the description is, if you hang out with me, then you know I usually say random stupid stuff. Usually if I have a couple, I do get a little weird. I mean, Aiden, you hanged out with me for a whole week.
We were on vacation for a week, and I think the show came up a week before that.
But Average Thoughts with Adam is just basically me just giving my descriptions. If you guys, everybody wants to write,
we talked about it back then,
Yeah,
we really talked about that one. That one's gonna be a fun one.
But no, I'm very excited for the Flash. I'm excited to direct with Lorenzo. Me and him, we've been friends. I can't thank him enough for bringing Culture Shock actually becoming something big.
We can announce. There's one more thing I want to announce.
Okay,
I want to talk about it. So in the next coming few weeks, I'm looking to not just step down from the Facebook page, kind of go away from that a little bit, because we want to focus more. We've realized YouTube is our big kind of driving point now, which is fun. Twitter has been kind of fun. Instagram has been awesome. We getting people, like, we've met some new friends on Instagram, which has been nice. Instagram has been taken off, which is also cool. So that's some other stuff we got to worry about. We've talked about getting a website done. We've talked about getting shirts done, possibly for friends who want to help support us along the way. Because it means a lot that people come and take their time out of their day. Like, even though we're not paying them, they still want to just come be a part of a fun and make, like, the whole idea behind all these script readings, the things we want to do. I looked at it as, you know what? We all live in very short time, and making memories with friends is the most important thing at the end of the day. That's what our goal was. We wanted to bring friends closer. We wanted to bring people who have the same passion for stuff closer together. Make something that you're going to remember, that we're all going to laugh at, even if it's like 10 years from now. If we're like, all right, we're done with Culture Shock, we can all go back and watch and have a laugh with it.
Mm-hmm.
The one person we think is really fit to kind of look over the Facebook page, and this was the one person who I approached even early on before we rebranded into Culture Shock. His name, he's in the top right corner, Juan Cuervas. We've talked with him for the longest time. It was just, who can we get? Who can we find? Who's got that same driving point as us? And Juan's going to kind of be overlooking the Facebook page a little bit, because Juan does have some really good stuff that he puts up. He also has Nerd Slayer, the show that's been doing really good. You guys have been doing good on here. Yeah. We also tell you guys take a break every now and then, because usually there's nothing to talk about. And we're like, well, we don't want them to drdrain themselves and not have fun, creative passion. Again, that's the fun part. Like you, Jay, and Steven, you guys have been doing fun. That's when you told me, you're like, I want to bring Geek on. I was like, yeah, go for it. Like, Geek's cool. Like, he's always has some fun input. Like, you heard his quote today. Like, it's always trying to find someone different, and we want to grow this. We want to make we have a team lined up. We're going to announce that soon of who everyone is. You're going to meet everyone. You're gonna start putting names with faces at some point, because people really don't know who we talk about a lot of the times, and they're like, who? And we're like, oh, we never really met this person. Like, people kind of still don't know who Joe is.
You guys will meet the team. You guys will, we'll announce, on Culture Shock, we are going to announce who everyone is and who's running who. That's very big, a big thing. I'm very excited about that. We have something incredibly going to happen. And one of the big things also too in November of this month, Aiden, you and I with Joe and Todd, we have Doctor Who. I don't know if anyone knows what Doctor Who is.
Nate does.
I know what Doctor. Yeah, no, I'm all ready. I'm ready right now. I'm so ready.
Guess what? I'm gonna need help, because I've got 60 years of Doctor Who to cover in 1 month.
I mean, I'm not caught up. I'm not caught up there. But I started with Christopher Eccleston. I started right when the Russell T. Davies started. So,
but there is a video going to be coming out. We don't know when yet. Todd, like I said, there's a lot going on with Todd and me and Lorenzo right now of what projects are on. But this is another one. Like Batman and Robin and this one are going to be probably the ones that are coming out. We are going to do a video called Culture Shock presents What is Doctor Who. We're going to sit down and we're going to help you guys get into Doctor Who. The description, what the TARDIS is, how does the Doctor can cheat death by regeneration. We're gonna.
So he's king.
So we're going to talk about the Daleks, the Cybermen, the Angels, the Zygons.
A lot of them.
All of these scenes that you guys are like, what is this? One, I can quickly send you some links on Doctor Who. I'll send you, how about the intro? I'll send you the cool intro. And then we'll see how you like it from there, okay? But
the theme is fantastic too.
The theme is fire. But that's pretty much it with Culture Shock today. Thank you all for tuning in. Juan, thank you for, of course, being part of it. I always count on you as the three leaders. Aiden,
3 kind of YouTube heads at the moment.
Aiden, it's always a blast having
Aiden,
you.
if you guys didn't know, Aiden was the one, because I got a text from people going, "Hey, Culture Shock is live at the moment." I'm like, huh? And I went to go check my phone. I was like, we're not live. If you guys didn't know, Aiden was the one doing the Spider-Man 2 Let's Play. He played the whole game, which was really cool. Because I remember getting a text from Steven, where Steven's like, "Hey, why is Culture Shock live? Is Swan doing something?" I'm like, "Oh no, it's just Aiden." Spider-Man. So you're gonna see, you guys, like I said, we're gonna see more people on this channel. You're gonna get more people familiar with who your name is, like names and faces. You're gonna be connecting people. We're gonna have more people talking about topics that maybe sometimes we can't get to in time, and just getting it out there.
And one more person I want to thank, because I always have a great conversation with him, is Nate.
Yeah.
I always have a great conversation with Nate. We go full details. I love it.
Yeah.
The inner geekness in us.
Hey Nate, quick question: where can people find your socials? What are your socials? We know you Twitch stream.
I mean, I'm not very active now. I mean, I'm very active on TikTok, but I'm just fooling around on TikTok.
Yo, dude, TikTok.
Sodium OD. Yeah.
TikTok is fun, but
like yeah, I'm the Star Wars to Star Trek guy, so that's I just start posting Star Trek memes on the Facebook page. That's
do it, dude. We need more people to do stuff. Usually it's just me, him, or Juan and Aiden posting like 4 articles at once. We did get a bunch of trailers today. We got Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes. I still have to watch that trailer. I haven't watched it yet. I heard people say it looked good, and we got the Fall Guy trailer by David Leitch, guy who did John Wick, and
it looks good.
Yeah, it's Ryan Gosling now as a stuntman who has to go save the lead. So I'm really interested. So it basically tells me it's a Lost City but better, which I still have to watch that movie. I heard that movie was funny.
If you guys want to keep continuing on, I'm gonna take off.
But we're probably gonna end it off here if you want to stream. But thanks for tuning in, guys, for a giant rant. We'll see y'all probably at the end of the month. If Marvel, we get an update from Marvel or SAG if there's a lot of news. But other than that, guys, thanks for tuning in.
Peace. See ya.
Peace. Thanks for tuning in and watching.
Peace.
That just hit end.